Hello everybody and welcome into my latest live feed. Today is, what is it, the 3rd of March 2019. It is Sunday, working on a Sunday, shame on me. But you gotta pay the bills, gotta pay those bills and carpe those diems. All right guys, welcome in everybody. Let's hope all the video and audio is sounding and looking a lot better today. Please say hello if you have a moment, say hello. Let me change my resolution so I can see better. Oh, it doesn't look like I'm getting 1080 for some reason. Stream quality is a max of 360. Yeah, I see that too. What did I do? But the audio's good now, right? Hold on, I must have done something. Hold on a second. What did I do? Let me refresh. Man, that's weird. That's new to me. Okay, I'm gonna have to start and restop the stream. Stay with me. We're gonna try this one more time. I just had to stop and restart OBS. I don't think it's, well, I don't know yet, but I think it might be an OBS issue. This new version, no, we're still at 360p for some reason. Yeah, this is new. Hang in there, guys. Every time I make a change like this to OBS, I have to stop and restart the stream, and it doesn't make any sense. It should be outputting 60 frames a second. I might just need to put it back. Hold on, I'm going to stop and restart again until we get this fixed. Okay, hold on. Let me see. Well, this may be this may be a YouTube issue if that's the case. I'm dropping the stream down to 30 frames just to see. Okay, I'm now it says 1080 by 60 and I'm not outputting at 60. All right, now we're back at 1080. I'm going to leave it here because every time I start it may kick an email out to people and I don't want to flood them with emails. So we're going to try this. We're going to stay with this now. Everybody, if you don't see 1080p, refresh. And let's give a minute for everybody to hopefully we didn't lose anything. But we're going to keep it at 30 frames. This is not high action sports. We don't need 60 frames. And I will play with it later. But if I got the audio good, we're making progress. All right. So we're going to take roll call. So when I say your name, you can say present or here. Class is in session. John Craig, Ryan Dolan, Stealth Mode, Torg 0, Dusan Parker, Garth Clark, Jim Desposito, John Edwards, Angry Dad 1969, AJ Solo, Eddie Casanova, Michael Mancini, PDG, Gainsey 95, Scotty 1D, Chris Chase, Darren Belmore, William Dawson, DJ Matrix, Jimmy Bateman, Philip Musto, Paul 1961, Chuck Wolf, John Edwards, Matthew Barnes, Francois Gobal, Eddie Milne, Alhaj Tepej, Craig Lilly, Thomas Carter, Zoom, Harry Baldwin, Scotty 1D, Bueller, sorry. Welcome. Thanks, guys. And to everybody else, welcome in. Kick things off. Get out of my way. All right, I'm going to tell you the story on this one. Customer had me build them a system. Well, you'll see the date on it in a minute. Most of the systems, even if you build, like, it doesn't have to be me building it. I'm not doing anything special. It's a matter of picking good quality parts and then building it correctly. Probably won't have any repairs for a very long time. I mean, eventually something's going to go. But computers, they just seem to be getting more and more reliable, especially as we start removing moving parts like hard drives and replacing them with solid state drives. You're less likely to have a failure. Tony Torkelson's contributed $10. Thank you, Tony. Thanks for supporting the channel. What happened was customers said, built the system 5 years ago. One of the customer's kids knocked the computer over while it was running. And the customer said, you know, she put it back up right, but now it's got a weird sound coming out of it. And I said, oh, you better bring that in, because I can't remember if I put a mechanical drive in there or not. And if that's a mechanical drive failure, you need to turn that off so we can recover the data or clone the drive, because that's not good. Otherwise, it's a fan or something got knocked into the fan. And one of the reasons I got a little bit of a late start today is the machine here is behind me. It had never, ever, from the looks of it, been cleaned. Now this is pretty normal. When an average consumer, the average computer owner, doesn't think that they need to open it up and blow it out any more than they clean their toaster. You ever looked at the bottom of your toaster? If you have a toaster at your house, stop what you're doing, unplug it, take it over your sink, and shake it upside down. Think about that. When you're putting bread in the toaster, you're cooking whatever that junk is under there, and it's going into your food. People don't think to clean it out. I'm not demonizing or insulting, I'm educating, right? Be aware of it. When's the last time you've taken your toaster, shake it upside down? Even if your toaster has a little catch tray under it, still take it, shake it over the sink, or take it outside and shake it outside. You do your health a favor. You're buying all this whole grain, non-GMO, organic bread, and you're sticking it in an old moldy toaster with crusted up mosquitoes and who knows what else is in there. Whew. So, took it outside. I want to show you what this looks like. Hey Booth, can we cut to the video? All right, so you see I built it in April 2014. We're almost in April of 2019, right? We're a month away. Take a look at that. Just like the inside of a toaster. Hey, it's possible. It could happen. Nice, slow, dramatic pans and zooms. Well, there's no zooms. Nice, dramatic pans with the camera. Ooh, look at that big old dust bunny back in the corner. Ooh, I think it's sentient. No wonder it was built in April. There's an Easter dust bunny in there. That's enough of that. So you know what happens next. You know what happens next. We get the cordless electric leaf blower. Oh my gosh, I'm sorry, I just probably blew your eardrums out. My bad, my bad. I will learn to do better. See that filter on the bottom? There's no point in having it if you're never going to clean it. You're better off leaving that filter off. If you use an air compressor, be careful, because air compressors have condensation that builds in the tanks, and you can get water filters, and don't crank the PSI too high on it. And the nozzle is also very narrow on most of them, so if you can get a wider nozzle for wider airflow, it's safer. There's no damage to spinning fans. I've already got a video about that that proves that. I explain how bearings and diodes work, and anybody who says otherwise has never done it for themselves. Because if you just try it for yourself, you'll see everything I'm telling you is true. Keep in mind, I've been in the business for 27 years as a professional. I started with a leaf blower about 15 years ago, and I'm still in business, and computers don't come back with bad fans. If they did, how would I stay in business? But I don't care. Don't believe me if you don't want to believe me. You don't want to believe the earth is round, you want to think it's flat, doesn't make a difference in my life whatsoever. You do see the front fan was never connected. I don't connect the front fan in Arizona. Oh, how about that negative and positive air pressure, huh? We didn't make a difference. Didn't make a difference. Now, here's the after. Now, I haven't done anything. I haven't wiped it down. What the next step would be to get like a damp washcloth and just, not on the circuit board, but like on the bottom of the case and around the fan shrouds, the top of the power supply. I would just wipe that down with a damp washcloth later. But that's the difference in that you saw how fast that is. That's all there is to it. What a difference. So dramatic. That was a good one, right? So I hope that was worth the delay in the video getting started by a few minutes, because I had to film it, edit it, render it, and then add it into OBS. And I did that in about 12 minutes. So it was about 4 minutes off my projection. Anyway, you don't want to vacuum it out. Vacuuming, you don't want to touch the components with any kind of a brush or a plastic nozzle. Static can come off of the plastic. So if you're going to do it, you want to blow the dust away. You don't want to suck the dust off. And you don't want to use a paintbrush unless it's a special anti-static kind of a brush. But even then, you're going too far. You know, you don't have to make it spotless. What we're trying to do is just take the insulation off so it can keep running cool. Now, this is all live. I want to emphasize I have no idea what I'm about to encounter with this. I don't know if the problem will replicate itself, if blowing the dust out of it fixed it. No idea what's about to happen, and I can't emphasize that enough. And for people that, you know, there's people that say, well, you know, it's an advertisement for Corsair. I mean, I got to use some parts, right? I mean, what am I supposed to do? Make my own RAM and make my own case? That's what the parts are. So if you don't like that, you clicked on my video to tell me you don't like my video. That is great. Thank you for that. People, it's like following me on Twitter to tell me you don't like my tweets. Why did you follow me? All right. So yeah, so here we are. Let's see, we got a Logitech dongle back here. I mean, she must have a wireless keyboard and a wireless mouse, and she's not aware that she can use one dongle for that. Okay, well, I'm going to leave that because I don't want to forget to give it to her. We've got 3 video outs, VGA, DVI, HDMI. What is this? This is a Gigabyte Z77M-D3H, and I think if you look through my video library, you'll see this build back in April of 2013. Harry Baldwin's contributed $2.99. He says, that PC looks like it's from my smoker client. No, there's no smoking here. This is, no. When somebody smokes, that dust won't come out like that. It becomes sticky, and you have to wipe it down. It won't. You can tell when it's just dust, it just flies out. When it's in dealing with a smoker, or smoker, then it gets sticky. It gets all over the fans, and it won't come off. You have to physically clean it, and the amount of labor and time that takes, just replace it. There's a lot of people who don't seem to understand that a business is all about time. Customers are waiting. So it's not a matter of grabbing a soldering iron, waiting 10 minutes for that to heat up. And it's not a question of skill, it's a question of speed. Also, when you replace something with another part, there's a new warranty involved typically. And so you don't have to worry about not fixing it right or having it come back again. So I would, if I was just a hobbyist or an enthusiast in my house and I had nothing else better to do, I could break out the soldering iron and take the fans apart and clean them all up. But you can't run a business that way. You can't stay in business. Nobody's going to pay you 2 hours of labor at $100 an hour for a $15 fan that you rebuilt by hand. You can do that on your own, but you're not going to stay in business with that. And that's how it works here in the USA. And I realize there's a lot of people all over the world that watch these videos, and their economy may not match that of the United States. But in the United States, it's about performance. It's about getting the job done right the first time, as often as possible, and as cheaply as possible, which means the amount of time you spend. Labor is the most expensive part in the United States. So we want to bring that labor down. So we're going to swap the part out and get it back to the customer and work on the next one, because people are waiting. I don't want to spend 3 hours resoldering something and then have the other customers waiting longer, and then have the other customer that I spent all this time on complain about how big the bill is because of the labor charge. That you just can't sustain a business. It's common sense here in the United States. And for people who don't get that, I just feel bad for them because they'll never be a successful business owner. But I have to keep emphasizing the difference between a hobbyist or an enthusiast and a professional. Professional meaning not I'm better than you. That's not what it means. It means people pay me to run, to fix their computers, maintain their computers, address whatever problems they have. And I hope that they refer me and they come back and repeat business. And I've been doing that professionally, meaning somebody's been paying me for 27 years, which is often longer than some of these kids have been alive. And I grew up with computers, right? I grew up as computers grew up. And kids today, they're growing up to computers, and it's a whole different attitude. And I'm not insulting anybody. There's no insult here. I'm just being objectively viewing the scenario and saying, this is not the same as the other. And I'm not saying one is better than the other. I certainly think the way I do it is better, but you don't have to. I'm not suggesting you agree with me. I'm just saying this is undeniably a fact. Hobbyists and enthusiasts don't have the pressure, the same kind of, it's not the same as running a business. It's not even anywhere near it. And it doesn't mean what they're doing is bad, but it also doesn't mean that what I'm doing by replacing parts means I'm not skilled. Well, I mean, I'm not skilled. Who are we kidding? But the fact is, this is easy. Anybody can do this. And so when you see these comments from people who are like, I can do that. Of course you can. I never said you couldn't. That's why I'm making the videos. But thanks for joining us. I hope you come in and stay a while. I see a couple contributions that come in. Let me give a few shouts out to some folks that I just missed. What do we have in here? Indy 500 fans contributed $10. Hello from Dittmer, Missouri. Hey, Indy 500 fan. Harry Baldwin at $2.99. John Yasudo's contributed $5. Oh, me and John got to talk. I think we're going to be building a computer for John at the end of next week, I hope. He says, afternoon, Carey, have a Coke on me after you fix this puppy. Scott Hanlon says, here's $5 towards the channel. Love the shirt. Keep up the good work. You're a great teacher. I learned so much from you. You guys are awesome. Thank you, Scott. That's Tony Torkelson, $10. Thank you, Tony. Andy Nicolau, £1.99. Tony Wallow, $4.99. He says, good day. Hey, you guys, thank you for your support. Also, I wasn't expecting anything from Amazon. Well, apart from some Thin Mints cookies, but if you missed that. And I got a Amazon gift card in the mail from Tony Wallow. Again, Tony's like, did you win the lottery, Tony? Because I feel like I did. Thank you, man. You're amazing. But you're all amazing. But especially, Tony's more amazing. I'm going to get myself in trouble. Thank you, Tony. Bill Leatherland joins us. Bill, good to see you. Stephen Bernstein. Love it when I recognize familiar faces and supporters. These people make me so proud. Granddad47 and Dawn Walters and Wim VDK. Of course, Wim. Wim sent me those chocolates from Belgium. Talk about supporting the channel. How about getting me a wider angle lens after I eat those so I can... I'm kidding. This is like a Jewish thing. Yeah. All right. Granddad says hello from... oh, I missed it. Where'd he go? It's in here somewhere. He said Wexham, UK? I can't find it now. You guys are... Hey, I love the comments. Keep the comments coming in. If there's 861 people watching, I bet 60 of you are commenting, right? And I know it gets a little crazy in there, but I love to hear from you. Even if I don't see it now, sometimes I play them back, and I don't even watch the video. I just read the comments when I have time. Louise Mejia? Mike Ladd, Perry Dubs, Mike's Graphics, Solo, Mark Baggett, Ian Troop. Ian says hello from Scotland. 24 Viper says hello. Chuck Wolf, I think I said Chuck already. Dusan Packler. All right, how about we get some work done? Enough with the hellos. It'll be time to say goodbye by the time I'm done. That's a good Coke. All right, I got my HDMI cable right here. And I'm gonna plug that in right there. I need a power cable, which I have over here. And we'll plug that in. Keyboard and mouse. That's all we need. That's all we need. We'll plug that in up front. Where's the monitor at, Carey? Well, here's the thing. I don't have a monitor to show you, so can I use yours? Would you mind if I just used... I'm the only guy that's got 876 monitors hooked up to his computer. What does he mean? I'll show you. That thing that says no signal, that means the video capture card's not receiving any video input. That's because I haven't yet turned the computer on. So here we go. Let's fire it up. Well, there's no mechanical drive in here, and I don't hear any grinding sound. And it's quiet. I mean, even for a stock fan, I think this is probably an i5. Here we go. You know, sometimes all you got to do is show up. The computer, like, suddenly it works. Let's just hide these desktop icons, just to give the owner some privacy. So we just right-click on the desktop, view, and show desktop icons. Okay. So there we are with the desktop. There's a few things we can do. We can make sure updates are installed. We can make sure that temp files are deleted, making sure that storage sense in Windows 10 is turned on. This didn't look like Windows 10 though, did it? It looked like, what is this? Look like Windows 8 with that flag, but I might be a little out of it today. Let's see if I'm out of it today. No, it's Windows 10. I am out of it today, but my screen is so small. You guys have no idea. 1803, so she's a build behind. So I'm going to install Windows 10 1809. Of course, get all the updates. We're going to check the Samsung drive for any firmware updates. And yeah, I can't imagine what was making a grinding sound. Sometimes if a customer leaves a DVD in the drive, if it, like, the computer gets knocked over or moved in the DVD, it can kind of get between the tray. It'll get jammed in there once the drive is closed. But these drives usually have a little pinhole up in the front right here, and you get a paper clip and shove it in there, and that'll force the tray open. But it's something you always want to check before you move your computer, is make sure you take the DVD or CD out to make sure the tray is empty. I don't know why she's running AVG. I would not run AVG. I don't recommend it. You're welcome to run any antivirus you want to run, but if you're paying me for a consultation, Windows Defender is all you need for antivirus, and then I would add either Malwarebytes or MCSoft. If you're going to use MCSoft's anti-malware product, then you don't need Windows Defender or Malwarebytes. But these products are not free, and if you trust your security to something for free, I can't help you. Well, not for free. All right, let me put the utilities flash drive in here, and let's just take a look at the specs on the system. Just out of curiosity, let's see what we got. CPU-Z. Yeah, Core i5 3570. So with an i3 or an i5, that stock fan under normal home use for an average everyday consumer is just fine. We're using the built-in graphics. This is obviously not a gaming machine. There are kids using this for education, homework. Parents, the whole family uses the computer. There's no Call of Duty happening over here. Ain't no Call of Duty up in here. Motherboard, we'll check that for a BIOS update. Memory, it's DDR3, 2 sticks of 4. You see slot 1 is empty, slot 2. There's the speed of the memory, it's Kingston. Graphics, of course, Intel HD graphics. All right. And if you're just curious, what kind of performance are we going to get out of that solid state drive and what is it, we can go to, let's see. Go to Crystal Disk Mark, and let's run that. You can run all these portable apps right off of the flash drive. There's no need to install anything. Oh, you stop that. You're going to interfere with my speed test. Stop it. Ah, all right, here we go. Ah, that is so annoying. If you like pop-ups, install AVG or Avast or Avira. Free versions, yeah. I promise you, you will satisfy your desire for pop-ups. 550 is about as good as you can expect out of any SATA drive because that is the limit of the technology, unless you go to NVMe, non-volatile memory express in an M.2 format. But M.2 SATA and just regular SATA with a cable, it's all the same tech. It's just the way it plugs in that's different, and these numbers are typical and what you should expect. Emma wants to know what that round thing the PC is on. You ever went to a Chinese food restaurant and they serve all the food and you can spend? It's called a Lazy Susan, and the link for it is in the video notes. All you guys have to do is look at the. I spend all this time on the video notes and nobody reads them. I suppose that's not true. The people who don't read them are the ones who ask those questions. But no, it's called a Lazy Susan, and it's very helpful. And then I got a doorstop. And I just jam it in there when I don't want it to rotate on me when I'm working on it. So just MacGyvered the heck out of that. But yeah, if you're going to use antivirus, pay for it. If you're not paying for your antivirus, I don't care if you're getting it from your ISP and you're paying your ISP, you are not paying for that antivirus. And if you entrust your identity and your safety to a free piece of software, then in my opinion, you get exactly what you deserve. We'll just leave it at that. Thomas Kerrigan says, I love your Homer. Don't! Why I oughta? All right, we're about to see the sequential write speeds are about to come up next on the top right, and that's really, really good. Again, it's SATA, and that's really, really good. On a mechanical hard drive, you can expect that number to be somewhere between 80 and maybe 180 if you're spending a lot of money on a mechanical drive, a big mechanical drive. The bigger ones are faster. PDG says the latest BIOS update is F13. And what did I have, PDG? I didn't pay attention. Remember, I don't get to see your monitor. Only you can see your monitor. I have to see a YouTube broadcast window inside of an OBS window, which inside of that contains my camera up here as well as the desktop. So everything for me is about 30 or 40% of what you're seeing. Unless I get multiple monitors and I start breaking these things out, and then you'll just see me looking all over the room going, which monitor has the... I've been trying to figure out how to solve this, but just so you understand what it's like from my side. The notes wouldn't have been any good because I didn't know what a Lazy Susan was. All you have to do is go to Google and type in, what is a Lazy Susan? In fact, you can go to your phone and say, hey, Google, what is a Lazy Susan? I really want to teach you guys to fish, And I encourage your questions, but I don't want you to be like I'm coming at you with the answers. Some of these answers are, with a modicum of just, we found the noise. Now, is it this fan or this fan? Well, you know how you can tell? I'm going to stop the rear fan with my finger. Remember what I said about fans? You're going to have a problem. It's the rear case fan. Remember how I said I don't plug in the front fan? That's so I can take that front fan off and put it in the back and the customer doesn't have to pay anything. Let's get you a bigger screen on this. Can you guys hear it? Let's see if I can get you a close-up in there. Let's get on in there. You guys can hear that? Stick my finger in the, don't stick your finger in the blades. Stick my finger in the middle. Let it go. My God, this man's a genius. So the problem didn't show up right away, but that's exactly what the customer described, and this happened after the computer got knocked over. Now, if you're a hobbyist and you got all day with nothing else better to do, you can oil that fan, but you should use the right oil. You should be using Graphite. I'll show you what it looks like. I know I have some in here somewhere. What I do with it? I don't use it very often. Very rarely do I use it, but I've got it in case I need it. And it's supposed to be in this little stack. I have organized piles. It's the best way I can describe it to you. Some organized pile. Ah, here it is. It's just kind of hidden under my battery testers. And I can put a link to this to Amazon if you guys like. This is what do they call it? Precision pinpoint lubrication. This is a graphite. And you can precisely oil the fan. You could use motor oil too, but it's just not gonna last as long. And then it's all over my hands. You know how hard oil is to get off? Look what I just did to myself. I hope you guys appreciate what I do for you. It's never, now my hands, it's gonna get all over everything now. That's not supposed to be like that. Anyway, I can, as I said, I can take this front fan off and move it to the back, but I think I have a spare fan. It'd be less work. Remember, it's all about time. It's not about ability to repair something. It's how, I gotta keep saying it because I feel like people don't listen. I expected to have this on my bench all day today, but the fact that I've been able to isolate the problem so fast is, you know, luck, number one. Two, I've got the spare part. The 4 screws and 1 cable, it's out, it's replaced. I wire tie it, I wipe it down, I get the damp washcloth. I update, as I mentioned, to the latest Windows, latest updates, check the firmware on the Samsung drive, make sure it's up to date, delete the temp files. It's ready to go back to the customer, on to the next one. Customers like it when you get their stuff back to them quick, and when they get a small bill instead of a big one. It's all about time, time. And those customers waiting behind, they're happier they got on the bench even faster, then they got their computer back sooner than expected. The bill is less than they expect, let's hope. And you got customers for life, and you can stay in business for 27 years. Well, I haven't been in business for 27 years. I've been in the business for 27 years. I started the business part-time in 1995, so whatever that is, 23 years, 24 years? It's long enough. But don't let that stop a 17-year-old from telling me this old guy, this old guy doesn't have any skill. Yeah, never said I did. I'm just dumb and lucky. All right, let me put that down. I got to remember to add a link to that, and let me wash my hands. I'm going to cut the audio. Look what I just happen to have. I just happen to have a Corsair case fan laying around. I don't know what this came from. Oh, I suppose I could put that thing back in here. The reason I had this is I had a weird CPU fan problem, and I didn't have any spare ones, and the customer wanted it fixed, even if it was just temporary. So Amazon was able to get this to me like the next day, and I was able to spend the time needed to help the customer. And this customer's on a retainer, so I don't bill them by the hour. And then another fan came in like a week later, and I replaced it and threw the other one out. Then I had another, like a big proprietary design fan that was on the side of a case that wouldn't spin. I mean, you could grab it with your hands and it was hard to turn it. And I'm like, oh, that fan's like $30. It's a ripoff. And a buddy of mine came over and he's like, I can fix that. I'm like, you can't fix that. He fixed it. He used that oil. No, I take it back. This was before I had that oil. He used WD-40. He used a can of WD-40, and it's messy. It got everywhere, but I'll be darned, that fan, as far as I know, still works today. But the problem is you got to peel a label off that covers the bearing with, from grease. And then when you put the label back on, it falls off because there's oil all over that area and it won't stick anymore. So you got to get like a hot melt glue gun or something, and you got to protect it from getting dusty. Again, you just buy a fan, but this fan was $30, and the computer I don't think was worth $40. So anyway. Let me shut this down. I'm just going to hit the power button, and it's going to do a normal shutdown no differently than if you hit start and shutdown. Here in just a moment, you'll see that just turned off. I'm going to unplug that fan from there. Let's take the USB stick out. Such a tough job you have. I know, right? That's what my dad said. If you watch... I did a video of building a computer with my dad, and we get about halfway through, and he's like, you get paid for this? I'm like, your kid's smart, right? Stay. Bad fan, what you gonna do? What you gonna do when I come for you back? Oh, copyright strike, better be careful. Let me get a damp washcloth because it's really dusty in there, and let's wipe that down. Now I prefer a washcloth to a paper towel because the paper towel can kind of shred inside of your case, and it's just worse than when you started. So, let's see if you guys can. Let's get a little zoom in on that. See what you can see. Come on, right there would be good. Man, the camera operator's getting better though, isn't he? This is what I do for my customers. I want it to be just as close to new as possible so we can start over with that reliability again. This rear fan technically isn't needed, but it doesn't hurt either. Don't touch any of the electronic components, and you should really do this with the power cable unplugged, because having an earth ground is a good way to get yourself killed. There's a reason why an anti-static strap doesn't plug into the wall. People just, I don't know, be careful of the information on the internet. And if you know an electronics engineer with a real academic degree, they'll tell you. But these people on the internet, they think they have the education of an electronic engineer, and they'll sit there and talk with confidence when the fact is they're really completely wrong and have no clue what they're talking about. So I want to warn you guys about that, including the information you get from me. Anybody that you receive information from on the internet, you should confirm it before you start preaching it out to others as though it were fact. That's the responsible thing to do. And if you can't be bothered to test it yourself and to do the research, then please don't advise other people. Night Owl's contributed £2, says, greetings from the UK. Greetings, Night Owl. I'm a night owl too, you know. I can get a wire tie on this, not a wire tie, I can get a nylon zip tie on that right now. Be easier to do that before I put it in the case. I'm just eyeballing it. Anything is better than nothing. The customer is never going to look in there, but I still take pride in my work, even if the only person who knows it is me. This is a used fan, but I'm doing this repair for free. This is a free repair. You want to know what I charge? Whatever I make on this video. How much do you make on a video? It's about $1 for every 1,000 views. Well, I think it's about $2, but YouTube takes about half of it, just less than half. But every video has different, it's complicated. YouTube's algorithms define some videos as being more valuable per minute than other videos. But for my videos, that's all you need to know. Wow, I think I just insulted myself. Thanks, YouTube. Don't talk about how much you get paid. Gonna make people jealous of that dollar. It's actually, again, it's you're not paid on view. I'm paid on how many minutes watched. So like if you skip through a video, it's the amount of minutes that you didn't skip. The actual amount of minutes that you watched is how I get paid. And I keep putting this fan on the wrong way. I'm a little confused. Hold on a minute. I gotta think this out for a minute. Okay, fan, where the brackets are, this is where the air blows out. We want to go in this way, but I want the cable, well, I guess the cable, yeah, that'll work. That works for me. Does it work for you? Do I have your permission? Is this good enough for you? Sorry. There's a lot of people who say that my work's not good enough for them, as if I want to work on their stuff. Like, good, I didn't want to work on your stuff anyway. I'm trying to teach you guys how to do it. I'm not over here asking for work. I'm showing you how to do it so you don't have to ask me for work. That's the, some people just don't get it. All right, that's it. The repair's done. We're gonna verify it. We'll let it run and we'll talk for a minute or a few minutes and see if it acts back up. It's table level. Back over to that other input. Oh, it must have been to sleep. So we can change that. We can go in the control panel. We don't want it to sleep when it's off. Or hibernate. We want to go to control panel. And we'll go to the power options. My screen is too small again. Power options. Power options. Samsung High Performance, change plan settings, turn off the display, great, advanced, power settings, turn off the hard disk after 0. Power buttons and lid. Power button. Setting. Sleep. No. What that sledding? Setting. The sledding? Sleep and setting becomes sledding. Leave me alone. There is no sleep button. What about our processor state? We want to have minimal. If you set this thing over to maximum, your processor will always be at 100%, which is not good. See, minimum is at 100. No. 5. Minimum of 5. And a maximum of 100. That's going to be easier on the CPU, the power bill, and everything. I don't know why that, maybe they changed it, but I'm putting it back the way it should be, and they can change it again when they've got it. I don't want to know nothing about it, you know? Customer's computer, they can do with what they want. When it comes into me because it's not working, I put everything right, not just what the customer says is wrong. I put it all back to the way it was when I delivered it. And they can change it back if they don't like it. But if they know so much, they can, if they don't like it, they can fix it themselves next time. What a jerk. Hey, I see what I do as helping somebody. If they don't want the help, I got other things to do. So I'm happy to help if they want it, and I'm happy to not help. And I'm super, super nice to everybody who leaves me alone. No, my customers are fantastic. They're always very appreciative. And if I were to point that out to them, they'd say, they'd say, I don't know how that changed. Maybe you delivered it to me that way. And I say, well, I know for a fact I didn't, but I won't tell them that. I'll say, yeah, maybe I did, but you know, it's set this way now. And I'm just telling you in case you don't like that, you can change it back. Most of the time you're like, I didn't even know what that is or what that means. And 4 people in the family use the computer. Maybe one of them changed it, or maybe you delivered it that way. All right, enough of the discussion. I'm just letting you know. Looks like I missed a contribution here. This is from Mira Aura. It's contributed $2. Says hello. Hey, thank you, Mira Aura. Jens Carlson contributed 20 Swedish kroner. Thank you, Jens. Edie Salt contributed $2. Says thank you very much for going live on a Sunday. Maroof contributed $2 and says thanks for the Sunday stream. And Anthony Wyatt says an awesome tech video, Carey. Mark's Brothers 715 contributed $9.99. He says, hey, Carey, your Tech Vets video was awesome. Hey, thank you. Thank you. Anthony Wyatt contributed $2 again. Or no, okay, I see. Second contribution says, love your videos. See you in Michigan. Yeah, I can't wait. I hope to see you there. And then I think I got everybody before that. So I need to sort of stall, and we'll talk and wait to hear if this fan cranks up again. Not sure how many minutes it took before. We've been on for 47 minutes, so I know it was maybe 15, 20 minutes. So we'll let it run at least 15 or 20 minutes to make sure we solve that problem. And I have one less fan in my inventory, that's a blessing. It really is. I have so many fans. What a bragger. You're such a bragger. Just sit there and talk about how many fans you have. What is this screwdriver? Everybody keeps asking me this. It should be in the video notes, and I keep saying that, but I'm happy to talk about it because I got to talk about something. This is a Panasonic Ey 7410. This is a professional tool. This is not a hobbyist tool because it's $169.99. They don't offer it on Amazon anymore, but you can buy it direct from Panasonic. One of my viewers sent me the link, and that's what should be in the chat room. It can fold, so you can have a gun shape. It's got a little LED. If I push this button right here on the back, there's a light down here, which is only functional, right? I mean, if you have it in a stick, that light's not going to help you much. It's got a locking mode, so you can use it as a manual screwdriver without breaking the motor. It's got 2 speeds, 2 RPMs, low RPM, high RPM, and it's fast. The bit is this is a 6-inch Phillips #2 magnetized bit. If your bits aren't magnetized, you just get a magnet and rub a magnet all over the bit, and it'll be magnetized. It's not a big deal. I like that the collar, you have to pull up on the collar to get the bit out. And so even to get the bit in, you have to pull up, and then it locks it, and that bit is locked in. And then what else can I tell you about it? Forward, reverse. lithium-ion battery that lasts a very, very long time and charges in 15 minutes. For the $169.99, you get the suitcase. It's a little plastic carrying case with the battery charger, 2 batteries, and the driver, and then these 2 little bits. You definitely want an extension, and you can pick up the extensions on Amazon or any hardware store, Ace Hardware, Home Depot, Ace, did I say Ace? Lowe's, any of those places. I just go online and buy them by the half dozen. They're about $2 a piece or something, I don't know. Panasonic Ey 7410. If it's wrong for a man to love his screwdriver, then I never ever want to be right. You're such a dork. So, why you say that like it's a bad thing? People like to point out mistakes I make in my videos. Oh no, I'm not perfect. What impact did that have? Can't go to school tomorrow. How come? I made a mistake. I'm still alive. Mistakes are good. Mistakes are how you learn. Don't be ashamed of your mistakes, and don't worry. I was like most people when I started, and I was hiding and editing my videos and hiding the mistakes because that's what everybody does. And I went, wait a minute, is this real? If I want to show you just how easy it is to build a computer, and I hide the mistakes, how stupid are you going to feel when you can't do it the way you see me do it? So when you see me, with all these years of experience, make mistakes, so what? Who cares? The problem is if you make a mistake and you don't realize you made the mistake, then that's a problem. But normally, it might take me a few minutes. I may not realize it right away. But with you guys watching, you often let me know. Some people are nicer about it than others, you know. But, you know, how stupid am I? Just go live and go, hey, look at my mistakes. I guess my parents could say the same about me. See, you can't insult me if I'm insulting myself. I'm my worst critic. Nobody's harder on me than me, I assure you. I demand perfection, and nothing else is acceptable. So nothing anybody can tell me in the chat is worse than anything I say to myself. But don't let me stop you from trying. But if I will warn you, you will get banned. And once you're banned, you will not be eligible to participate in any of the giveaways we do. So it's your own karma, man, you know? It pays to be nice. What happened to my Galaga sign? Oh, I changed it out to Galaxian, but I don't have any room to put it out there right now. I've got Franklin's computer I got to get back to. I got to figure out what I'm going to do for Franklin because it's, I don't know. It's just been tough, A little challenging of a build, but one way or the other, it will get done and it'll be resolved and it'll be perfect. Just takes a little time sometimes. Sometimes things go faster, but no matter if it goes fast or it goes slow, it gets done right the first time as much as humanly possible. The thoroughness is never sacrificed in order to meet a deadline. I have to make sure because I'm warranting and supporting it. And I don't want to go out of business because customers are calling me with problems that are something I should have been able to prevent from occurring while I had it. And when those customers are out of state, if they're, you know, hundreds or thousands of miles away, I can't plug a fan in for them or make a BIOS adjustment for them. It has to be done here. It has to be done right the first time. But hey, no pressure. I have the only sponsors I have on this channel are you guys. You see these contributions coming in. Melva Rosa just contributed $20. He says, this is for tomorrow's breakfast on my carry. Love your channel. Keep up the good work. Thank you, Melvin. Is Melvin a moderator? Yes, thank you. Jesse Kirk. Hey, Jesse, he's contributed $4.99. He says, you're the best. Oh, flattery will get you everywhere, Jesse. Thank you. Thank you. I'm not the best. I do my best, and I expect you to do your best. Don't ask me to do it for you. I like what Adam Carolla says. Don't do your best, do my best. Seriously, dude, or dudettes. Do what you're capable of, and don't beat yourself up if it's the first time you've done something. I hope it's not super easy for you, because you're going to get bored and think, who cares about this? You're not going to be interested. There's got to be a little challenge to it to keep you interested. And it's nothing to fear. It's no big deal. It is no big deal to build your own computer. It's super easy. If you break a part, you're not going to break 10 parts, right? So worst case scenario, like you think, oh, I'll spend the money and I'll lose all my money and I should have not built it. No, that'll never happen. Worst thing that happens is you break something by mistake and you may have to buy another one of those things. And maybe it's $100, but it's not going to be $2,000, And if you consider how much a 6-month, a semester in college is to learn this, it's far more than $100. That's the best investment in yourself. Invest in yourself. It's the best investment you'll ever make in your life. The customer that I built remember the Silverstone LD01? I put that, the RGB lava lamp. Heard from the customer, and I said, how's the computer running? And she said, it makes me angry. So what's the problem? She goes, you've been telling me to build my own computer, and I've been putting it off, and I should have done it much, much sooner. I shouldn't have waited this long. This thing's amazing. And I'm like, thank you. Guy from Australia, this computer's amazing. He had to wait 4 months for it and pay almost $2,000 in shipping and taxes and fees. And he's still like, this is amazing. He shouldn't have had to wait 4 months for it, but due to circumstances beyond my control, that's what it was. And he was patient, and he was understanding, and he was appreciative, and it just lights my world up. It just makes it's more important to me than the money to see people happy and to know that I was a part of that. But yeah, I'm not saying I should build a computer for you. I'm saying you should build it yourself. The computer the other person had, the one with that Silverstone, they had a big like an Alienware thing where he's like 100 pounds. It's got little tiny fans in it that aren't working. I could barely pick it up, and I don't have a good back, so it's dangerous for me to pick something up that heavy, because if my back goes, I'm down for about 6 weeks. I can't even tie my shoes. It's the most painful thing. Anyway, I said, what are you doing with that old tank that you used to think was a sports car? Because she was like, oh, this thing's fantastic. And I know it isn't. It's not. And she's thinking of maybe donating it. And I said, well, why don't you loan it to me and let me fix it on a live video? Because this thing is the stupidest thing I've ever seen. Like, it's just stupid. Yeah, I'm going to insult her Alienware, and she'll have to get over it. This thing is just, it's got vents that open when the computer gets hot. And it's got these little tiny fans. And these little fans, the bigger the fan is, the slower it can rotate to move more air. So these little fans have to spin super, super fast. And they're loud. And they burn out fast. And they're hard to find. And there's like 3 of them in this computer, and I think 2 of the 3 won't even spin anymore. And she was blissfully unaware, because she never opened it up. There's no case window on it. And in all fairness, I think the machine's 10 years old, but in all fairness, I think she paid twice as much than if she would have just had me build her one. And she wouldn't have had any of these problems, because I wouldn't buy components like that. I won't put parts like that in. And other things that this computer had that is not applicable to her, that's money that could have gone into more memory, more storage, better graphics card. And that's what happens when you buy pre-built. You get what you get. And they're really disposable. Even at the high $4,000 level, oftentimes from the big manufacturers like Alienware, they're still disposable. Some parts you can change, but some parts are just odd choices. And nobody needs vents that automatically open and close. It's absolutely the stupidest thing I've ever seen. Well, it's up there. Sorry, I'm venting. You see what I did there? Is Coca-Cola your sponsor? I don't have any sponsors. Is it okay for me to like Coca-Cola? Is that okay? The people that make that microwave, I bought that microwave. The people that manufactured that door, I don't know who they are. The people who make the paint, the people who made the cabinets, the vent over the oven, that dish rag hanging over there, these wire cutters, the screwdriver. I bought all this because that's what I do and I like it. Like if there's a sale on something, let's say you're a gamer and your friends are gamers and there's a sale at Steam and you call your friend and you go, hey, there's a sale at Steam. Does your friend go, does Steam sponsor you? It's a weird thing people do on the internet. It's quite the opposite. I sponsor Coke. It's true. Coke's never given me a dime. I wonder how much money I've given to Coke over the last 50 years. Well, I wasn't drinking it out of the womb, but I'd say at least for the last 35 years for sure. I'm sure it's at least $1 a year. Man, if Coke was my sponsor, my kitchen would be a lot bigger. So I'd still film in the kitchen. It would just be a lot bigger. You guys are something else. The battery drill is not in the notes. Okay, well, I'll address that. Thank you. I will address that. Send Coke a bill for all the free advertising. Yeah, and I'll hold my breath waiting for them to pay it. Computer's been just dead silent. It's still running. Everything's cool. And I mean that both figuratively and literally. Dead silent. Love an easy fix. I do. 1,139 people are watching. Welcome in, everybody. Where are you watching me from? Why don't you, I mean, I don't need your street address, you know, just like city, state, country. It blows my mind because I'm standing here in my kitchen talking to myself. And then suddenly people start going, oh, I'm watching you from here. And I'm like, holy smokes. Makes me nervous. Oh my gosh, people are watching me. Maruf has contributed $2. He says, giving you my junk food money, best diet plan ever. If you're looking for a cheaper electronic screwdriver, the Hitachi is the one I recommend. It's about $60 or $70. It doesn't have an auto-off clutch, but it's a good driver. I don't like the gun-shaped drivers. I don't even consider them. Here we go. Look at them. Denmark, Texas, New Jersey, St. Louis, Algonquin, Illinois, Germany, Tennessee, Washington, D.C., New York, Arizona, Liverpool, Morocco, wow, Bosnia, oh, look at that, Essex and England and Switzerland and Panama and Ireland, Springfield, Massachusetts, Ohio, California, North Carolina, Ontario, Missouri, Delaware, is it Delaware? Liverpool again, Colorado, Manitoulin Island, Poco. I don't know what Poco is. Is that a country? Wexham, Peachtree City, Georgia, Barbados, New Zealand, Oregon, Laverne, California, Rock Island, Illinois. They make firearms in Rock Island, Illinois, don't they? Central City, Pennsylvania, Durham, UK, South Africa, Massachusetts, Florida, Newton, North Carolina, Holland, Devon in the UK, Hungary, that's my father's side of the family, Hungary, Serbia, Blackpool, Warrington, Valco, serves you right, Romania, Lithuania, Sharpsburg, Georgia, Ireland, Irving, Texas, Scotland, South Yorkshire, UK. Yes, they do make firearms in Rock Island at the Arsenal. Okay. Poland, Denmark, Hertfordshire, Essex, Wichita, Kansas, Kosovo, Tucson, Southern Arizona. Isn't that Tucson? Newcastle upon Tyne, Epsom, UK, Ontario, Queensland, Estonia, Slovakia. John joins us from Alpha Centauri. You, Starfighter. Never mind. Brooklyn, New York, Wisconsin, north of Detroit. I'm glad you're not south of Detroit. South Korea, really? Is that for real? Malta, South Jersey, Latvia, Montclair, California. Maroa says I missed some super chats. Maroa said Alienware is an insult to Alienware. IJS? What is IJS? Thomas M has contributed $5. Said started watching you all of one day and many thanks. Will be a fan. What do you mean will be? Brian Lowe's has contributed $23.44. I see what he did there. 2, 3, 4, 5. Thank you, Brian. Folks that are contributing $20 or more, if you would like a case badge, please reach out to me using my email address, which you can find at tech-vets.com. What is the case badge? Let me get one. I'll show you. I'll show you what because I don't want to do what everybody else does. You got to do something different. So this is what I came up with. Have you ever watched a car race? Like any kind of car race. I don't care if it's NASCAR, Formula One, drag racing, whatever. You've seen a car race and you notice all the cars have stickers all over the cars. And that's because cars without stickers don't win races. Prove me wrong. Show me a Formula One or NASCAR or a professional drag race. Show me a professional race where a car that wins doesn't have a sticker on it. That's because those stickers make the car go faster. No, they don't. So, buy one of my Go Faster stickers and put it on your computer and be a winner. God, that's cheesy. Oh, that's so bad. That's so bad. Oh, it's so bad, it's good. I tell you what though, if you want to save some money and get a powerful screwdriver, way too powerful to build a computer, but you're just, more important it's that you save money, you get yourself one of these bad boys right here. Again, 6-inch, number 2 Phillips extension on the end. That's not sold separately. This is a DeWalt DW920. Watch the sparks fly out of this thing. See it lighten up in there? You're screwed. Wait, what? This actually, I have to turn the clutch to its lowest setting or it'll rip the heads right off a screw. Oh wait, that's the highest setting. Sorry. Let's crank that down to probably 2 or 3. I don't even know. It's been such a long time. But you can use this. It's heavy. It's very, very heavy. And it's a bit large and awkward to work on the computer. And for me, it has to be in the gun shape because this part is so long already. But I like that it won't straighten back out unless you hit the release lever. And then it locks. But it's huge. It's very big. But it does get the job done, and if you use it regularly, the battery does a pretty good job for NiCad. Obviously, if there's a lithium-ion version of better, then you won't have to charge the battery so often. But that's the DeWalt DW920. It's been a staple of construction workers for decades, or at least, yeah, definitely decades. It's got a little bit holder down there. They're just too small. It's great if you're doing drywall or putting furniture together. And if you set the clutch really, really low, and you're careful, these things are like $80. It's a really good deal with the charger, the driver, the suitcase, the little carrying case and everything. It's heavy. It's going to build some muscles. You're going to be a man, even if you're not, if you use this regularly. There's your forward and reverse switch. So, unlike this, I don't have to hit a switch. I mean, it's still a switch, but forward, reverse, forward, reverse. With this one, you got to learn new muscle memory, and you got to go forward, reverse, forward, reverse. Actually, that's forward. That's reverse. Righties, tighties, lefties, loosies. Dwayne Banks says, from South Africa, I love your channel. That's awesome, Dwayne. Glad you're part of the community. Hope to see you more. Do I have whiskey in that? Why would I ruin a perfect good Coke by putting any whiskey in it? That's terrible. Is that a new dentist tool? If you want it to be, get in the chair. You should see what I use for anesthesia. It's a big hammer. Those case badges ship all over the world. There's no place I cannot ship one to. I pay one price to ship the case badges within the US, and I pay a flat rate to ship the badges literally any country other than the US. So it doesn't cost me any more to ship it to Canada than Australia or Turkey or India. You know, I've only had one go to India, but it's nice to know. I've had several police stations putting my case badges on, a few judges. It's very flattering to me to think people in these positions share a common interest. Okay, I don't know what happened to this. I think it evaporated. I need one more. One more. I've been buying the bottles. I'll tell you why. These are little bottles. And the reason I like them is there's not as much in a bottle as a can. This is 8 ounces. I think a can is 12. I know many of you were like, what's an ounce? We're not in the United States. A can, I think, is 355 milliliters, and this bottle is 237. So instead of 2 cans, I drink 2 bottles. And I don't have to put ice in it because I know that really offends Europeans. And it stays colder, and it tastes better, and it's more camera friendly. Like Coke pays me, right? What do I care if it's camera friendly? But the contoured bottle of Coca-Cola is one of the most valuable registered trademarks or symbols, recognizable just from the silhouette of it. It is a very valuable, I think it's one of the most valuable, is it a trademark? What do they call it? Sort of like a Tommy gun. If you see a silhouette of a Tommy gun, you know exactly what that is. Nothing else looks like it. And that contoured bottle from Coca-Cola is very iconic. And in my goal to try and be iconic, I try and stay in the company of iconic things. Yeah, we'll go with that. That sounded good to me. Cheers. There, cheers. Sean Pace, or is it Scene? Sometimes people say Scene. Thanks for being a shining example of what a good PC technician should be. Your handling of clients, quality of work, nothing else like it on YouTube. Honestly, all you had to say was nothing else like it on YouTube. I appreciate that. Donald Burton has contributed $3. Have you seen the movie Ender's Game? I tried. I got about 15 minutes, 20 minutes, and I'm like, this is just really stupid. I'm sorry, but maybe if I was 15, I would have liked it. I didn't like it at all. There's a movie coming out called Captive State a couple weeks from now. It's the first movie coming out this year that is even close to me being interested to pay $11 to see it in the movie theater. To have to listen to crying babies and cell phones. God, this guy just complains a lot. Sticky floors and overpriced concessions. Okay, we get it. You're old. What? I don't care if you think it's funny. I'm just having a good time. Other people think I'm funny, so if you don't, you're wrong. Hey, look, I could get a studio, I could get a studio, and I could say, look how easy this is. Just first step to build your own computer. First thing you got to do is get a studio. Wait, what? Steve Martin used to be a stand-up comedian. Some of you are very young and you may not even know who Steve Martin is, but he's in movies a lot. Well, he was. And he used to say, I'm going to tell you the secret to being a millionaire. Step 1, get $1 million. Step 2, I don't know. It's just the stupidest thing. So when somebody says, look how easy this is to do, you can do it, and they're in a studio, does that mean you're supposed to be in a studio? Well, why do you work in the kitchen? Well, where would you prefer I work? In the bathroom? You want me on the toilet? Or perhaps the bedroom? You want me sitting on the bed? Or the hallway? Would that be good? The kitchen is a great place to work on a computer because most kitchens do not have carpeting and they're very well lit. And hopefully, especially out here in the West, we have these, what we call islands. And it's a great countertop. Just be careful not to scratch it up, especially if you're married. You can't see my black eye anymore, right? John Yasuda has contributed $10. He says, another 6-pack of Coke on me. I will say, John, that's the downside of buying the Coca-Cola in these little bottles. If I get the big 35-can case from Costco, it's like $10 or $11. These bottles came out to be about $1 a piece. I think I caught them on sale for $4.99 for 5. They're normally $5. I'm sorry, for 6 bottles. $4.99 for 6 bottles, or I can just show you. This is how I buy them. They sell at the store for generally it's $6. I think Target has it for $1 less, but it's more expensive than the cans. And I recycle the cans. I get about $30 in recycled cans. And the glass in the city of Glendale, Arizona, they don't recycle cans. So, they don't recycle glass. They don't recycle glass. So the glass goes in the trash, unfortunately. There's no bottle deposit in Arizona. It just it's trash. And in fact, if you put this in the recycle bin, the city will issue you a warning, and if you do it again, you'll be cited for it. Because the glass breaks and it gets into all the cardboard and all the other recyclable materials, rendering them unrecyclable. It completely, like you would have to have a separate container, and some cities do that. In Glendale, we just have one container for recyclables, and it's got a big sticker on it. Don't put styrofoam in here. Don't put plastic bags in here. Don't put glass in here. And people do it anyway. And when they do it anyway, thinking they're doing the right thing, they are completely ruining everybody else's recycling that went into that collection truck. But other cities, they'll have a blue bin for aluminum and a green bin for glass and a purple bin for underwear. And I don't know. They don't want pizza boxes. because it has residue from the food that is not recyclable, that has to go into the trash can. So many rules. I have to tell you, what tickles me the most is, if you guys want to build your own computer, film it. You can use your smartphone. You don't have to be fancy. Just keep it steady. Don't move it too quickly. A big mistake most people make two mistakes when they take pictures. They'll put somebody in a picture, and I know why people, I used to do this too. When you take the picture, you'll put the person, like, they'll put their head in the middle, and then you have all this space. Don't do that. Put the person, fill the frame up with the person when you're taking pictures. And when you're filming, the other thing people do is they move the camera like their eyes. It's too jarring to the viewer. You've seen it, you know what I'm talking about. Nice and slow. You can never go too slow. Nice and slow, up and down. And try to avoid using a zoom. Instead, use your feet and hold the camera steady and use your feet. Now, if you're filming animals at the zoo, use your zoom. But Carrie said use my feet, so let's get a nice close-up of that lion's gum line. But it's really, really easy once you learn those two techniques. Slow and fill the frame. And beyond that, and you don't always have to center things. Sometimes you push something off. It's called the rule of thirds, where you break the screen into like 9 boxes, 3 across the top, like a big tic-tac-toe box. And you put somebody off to one side, and that can be an interesting shot. Or you can do these really cool reveals where, the camera moves. So, something's here, and then the camera moves to the side, and it reveals the computer behind me. You can have a lot of fun with it. But anyway, forget all that. You don't have to get fancy, but film your build, edit it, put it up on YouTube, share the link with me, and I will share your build on my channel, and I'm going to profit from it. I'm going to monetize it, so I'll make that dollar, right? But in return, I'll also say, hey, if you like this video and you want to see more of this guy, go subscribe to him, and hopefully you inspire others who maybe don't relate with me, but relate to you, whether you're young or old or male or female or whatever your race is. Maybe you will identify with one of the viewers better than I do, and you will inspire others, and you can grow your YouTube channel. And then maybe you go, hey, Carrie, I don't want you to have my video anymore. Please take it down. I take it down. Who else on YouTube will do that for you? And if nothing else, if you want to take a couple snapshots of your parts, and then maybe and don't take it in the dark. We have to be able to see that. Don't send me pictures that are crooked. Bright light. Give me bright light so we can see. And then tell me a little story about why did you pick these parts? Have you built a computer before? Was it easier than you thought it would be? Was anything harder than you thought it would be? Is there anything you would do differently? Would you want to do it again? And I will read that out and share your story on a future live build, again, to, first of all, congratulate you, and secondly, to help inspire other people to go, if that guy did it, Carrie's been doing it 27 years, he says, of course he can do it. Everybody can do it. But sometimes it takes it coming from a different person that's more relatable to that specific viewer. And you've seen me do it. Reverend John O'Toole, for example, has submitted a couple of videos, and I recommend you subscribe to his channel. We're not competitors here. We're a community, and we support each other. And for anybody who doesn't support or is not kind, they get booted out of this community. This is a safe place on the internet. And if people don't value that, then we don't need them here. Everybody's welcome as long as they're nice and supportive. I mean, it's really easy. Sometimes just to be nice and supportive, you don't have to say a thing. But if you come at somebody, if you insult somebody, if you claim to be smarter than somebody, nobody likes a know-it-all. You don't need to prove yourself to us. It's not a matter of how much you know, it's whether or not you're a jerk. Why don't you work on that? Perry says, I wanted to say thanks for the last stream when you talked about bullying. It helped me open up why I couldn't finish school, and there's no online classes in New York. Online is, yes, there are online classes. the internet is worldwide, and there are accredited schools with the federal government that are, as far as I know, available as equivalent in all 50 states. University of Phoenix is a big one. I think K through 12, you can get your online GED. In fact, I think it's even a high school diploma now, even though a GED is a general equivalency of a high school diploma. Regardless of that, you don't do that to impress other people. You do it for you. You understand? It's your accomplishment, and the only person it benefits is you. And if you work this hard finding excuses on why you can't do it to figure out how to do it, you figure it out. It's real easy. So no more excuses. Let's get off our butts. And by that I mean, I would but, I could but. Get off your butt. Get it done. And when you look back on it, you'll see how easy it was. And you're welcome. You're going to love me or you're going to hate me, but when you come through this, you're going to be a more confident person, and confidence isn't something anybody can give you, right? I can tell you what worked for me. I can tell you I went to the gym and I started working out. It's been a long time. I mean, look at me. But when I was a teenager, I was angry and I had to take that energy out, and I took it out at the gym. And I didn't have a trainer. I didn't know what I was doing. I'd pick a weight up, put it down, pick a weight up, put it down. Push-ups, anybody can do push-ups. You don't need to go to the gym to do it. And don't bend those elbows. Keep your elbows straight. Straight down, back up, straight down, and you'll feel your shoulders go back. And you hold your head up. And you change your posture. People start leaving you alone. It's a miracle. It's amazing how that works. And you don't learn it in one day. You just repetition. How many of these computers do you think I built? You think I was born knowing this? I'm going to tell you a little secret. When I was a little baby, when I was born, I was so stupid. I was like the dumbest. I'm admitting something here. I'm just being honest with you. When I was a little baby, I was so stupid. Like I didn't even know what a fork was. And all I'm doing is I'm trying to hide how stupid I am by educating myself. Does that make sense? I mean, I'm telling you. I mean, I was so stupid when I was a baby. I'm still going with this. I would go potty in my pants. They had to put diapers on me. They had to teach me how to use a toilet. I couldn't even walk. And now, look how far I've come. And you know, when I first started to walk, I was so stupid that when I fell down, I got back up. I didn't go, oh, that hurt. I better just keep crawling. I was so stupid. This is how dumb I was. After I fell down, I got up and I did it again. And when I fell down, I got up and I did it again. And I fell down and I got up and then I started walking. Now we get older and we go, oh, I tried. Wait a minute, maybe I wasn't so stupid. Think about that. Am I getting through to you? I'm reading some of the comments over here. Am I getting through? $1,034, 1,026. Oh, we lost some. Apparently, I've upset some babies. They don't like you talking about them. Well, they ain't coming back. Well, they weren't here to hear it. How's the fan? You know, I've been talking for what, 40 minutes since we put this fan in? It's been running the whole time. It's good. It's fixed. Fixed it right the first time. Got all the dust out of it, so it'll run quieter. She's got some sticky, looks like there was duct tape on top of this computer case. There's something on here. I'm gonna get some stuff and clean that off. When you fix a computer, go the extra step and clean the computer. Your customers will appreciate that. If you want a business that's successful, not just today, but 10 years from now, treat everybody the same, charge everybody the same, and do the same work. Don't just fix the computer, make it better than it was when they brought it in. Even if it means getting a little Windex or a damp washcloth. You know, I'll probably have to scrub on this for all of 5 minutes of my life to get it off. Oh no, let's just ignore it and wait for it to go away on its own. Customers appreciate little things like that. And when you start at stopwatch, get a stopwatch and time yourself. How long it takes you to clean it? It's no more than 5. If it takes you 5 minutes, it's a great investment. And in most cases, I think it might take you just about 90 seconds. It's not a big deal. Customers love that, because you know where customers aren't going to get that? Those big box stores with those corporate technicians. They're not wiping any computers down over there, last I saw. They do the bare minimum. And you know what you get for the bare minimum? You get the bare minimum back. But more importantly, you can feel good about it. When a customer says, wow, you cleaned it. I didn't expect that. And it's a good didn't expect that. That's when customers tell their friends about you. That's when they refer you. And then you don't have to worry so much about spending money on marketing and coupons and advertising and Google AdWords. Now suddenly people are doing the job for you. Is there a specific age I need to get to be an A+ technician? I don't know. I don't think any certification you should go after unless an employer requires it. When I talk about high school, when I talk about a diploma, this is for you. This isn't for anybody else. When we talk about certifications, they're very narrow. They're not so well-rounded as an education. You're not getting math and science and history and the other things schools teach. It's been a long time. You know, when you go to college versus a trade school, a college is going to make you a more well-rounded. You're going to go, why do I have to take English when I'm not going to, why do I have to take biology? I'm not going to be a doctor. You take it so that you have a modicum of understanding as a rounded individual, well-rounded individual. And it shows employers how versatile you are, how trainable you are, and that you see things through. You started school, you finished school. You're somebody who gets things done. And when you talk about certifications or we talk about trade schools, they very narrowly focus you on this one thing. And a lot of times, remember, schools are there to sell you. They're going to tell you how great all the jobs that are going to be available. And the peak, they don't say it that way, but you can make as much as $80,000 a year as a desktop support technician. No, you can't. Maybe some guy somewhere, but it's unlikely to happen to you. So pay us some money so we can educate you so you can go get a job to pay us back. Wait, what? So that's why I like all my videos on YouTube to be free. This will get you started, get you interested. Now, if there's a potential job that you want and it requires an A+ certification, then I suggest you go get it. Or if you're in a job and you want to move into the next position and they say to move into this next position, you need whatever certification, then you should get that certification. And in fact, you can often make a deal with the employer that it's not uncommon, but sometimes you have to ask. If you're already working for the employer and a position within the company opens up, and that position requires a certification, it won't hurt you to ask HR or your boss, if I get the certification and I pass, will you reimburse me? You'd be surprised how often the answer is yes, especially in large corporations. Sometimes a really expensive degree will be paid for if you sign a contract that you will not leave the company for a certain period of time if they pay for that, and they'll only pay for it if you pass, and you agree to stay at that company for 4 or 5 years after that. These are not unusual circumstances, and that's why if you put all this money up front, then you'll have all this paper, education, but you'll have no experience. And they'll say, well, we don't want to hire you because you want too much money and you don't have any real world experience. And yet other places will say, we're not going to hire you because you don't have any level of education that's required by the corporation, like Intel. When I worked at Intel, I went in as a contractor because my education at that time was not meeting their minimum requirements to be an Intel employee, but there's other ways to get into Intel. So when I tell you to be persistent, I'm not telling you to keep doing the same thing. Don't keep knocking on the door. Then you're just being a pest. There's a difference between being persistent and being a pest. When somebody tells you to be persistent, what they mean is if you try something and it doesn't work, come at it from another angle. So for me to get to Intel, if I wanted to work there, and I did, I would have to go to school for a couple of years and get a certain level of education, and that would not necessarily guarantee me a job at Intel. It would guarantee me a higher starting salary if they hired me. That's what a diploma does for you. Because when you get the job, they're going to say, forget everything you learned in school because this is how we do it here. But to get the job, you prove to them with the diploma that you're somebody who sees things through and that you're trainable, right? When it comes to these certifications, they're very limited. And it's no good to have the certification without the work. It's no good to have the work. Well, that's not the right way I'm saying it. Some employers, depending on if it's a mom and pop shop or a corporation, are more strict with the job requirements. And as such, if you want that job, that's what you should do. It's really no more complicated than that. If you're not necessarily looking for a specific job, but you're looking to be in a certain arena like IT, then certainly a community college is a good place to start for IT. You don't have to go to a university. You don't have to have an expensive education. And that will get you started. And if you enjoy that, a lot of people don't like school, especially if you spent all your life in school, right? You're 5 years old, you go to kindergarten, you're 18, you're like, finally school's over. No, get to college. And then 4 years or two to 4 years later, you're done with college in most cases. And it's like, am I ever going to get a job? I'm 22 years old and all I know is school. And employers know that. So what employers do is they go, oh, this guy's 22 years old, he doesn't have a family, he doesn't have a life, he'll work 70 hours a week and we can give him $12 an hour because he doesn't have any family expenses, he doesn't have a house, or she, whatever. I say he, but I'm just referring to, unfortunately, for whatever reason, the IT field is mostly male, which upsets me because there's absolutely nothing about what I do that requires a penis. But anyway, it's true. So I default when I say he, but there's no reason it can't be a she. And certainly don't mean to offend anybody. But that's the reality of it. And like I said, if you want to run your own business, forget about IT. Get an MBA, get a master's in business. That's when you see all these CEOs of companies, all those guys have MBAs. And so if you want to be running a company that's also a computer company, then you major in your MBA and you minor in IT. If you want to go into database administration, SQL Server, network architecture is a job in and of itself for large corporations that have networks around the world. They have locations around the world. Hotels in Las Vegas have a storage attached network that backs up like in Georgia. terabytes of data constantly every day. There's a lot on the line, a lot of money every day in Las Vegas. And so if anything happens, if something happens, the strip burns down, all that data is way, way far away and current and up to date. And that's really complex stuff. It takes really smart people to figure out how to make all that happen. And you usually have to do it within a time frame and a budget. And if you like challenges, it's a good job for you. So I don't want you thinking that if you get an A+, you're just going to get a foot in the door. Because without the without the experience, it's tough. It's a tough thing. You know, you need experience and you need education, and it's a chicken and egg situation. Which one came first? You got to start somewhere. I advise you to get the job first and get the certification second, unless the job requires the certification. Then get the certification first, and then go for that job, or one like it once you have it. The Army and the VA paid for all my college. You know, that's another, you know, just because you join the service doesn't mean you necessarily have to carry a rifle and fight the front lines. There's a lot of IT positions available in the in the forces. And it's a way many people have gotten their education and served their country and didn't have to pay for it. In fact, they got paid, they got clothed, they got housed, they got fed. And in a time of war, you may be in a position that's not quite as dangerous as the front lines. You know, whether you're an aircraft repair person or telecommunications, IT, drone operator. You know, you sit in a room. Anyway, it's a good point. It's a very good point. And you get the benefits of being a veteran for the rest of your life when you go to buy a house, insurance, car insurance with, there's companies that just, if you or any immediate member of your family was in the service, you can have cheaper car insurance than everybody else. Theoretically. And you served your country, and what's better than that? Some people, I see this a lot with young people, they like gaming and they like playing, and they're afraid of work. They're like, oh, I don't know what I'm going to do when I'm 18 or 20, I'll worry about it then. As if work is a bad thing, as if work is something to run from. I like my work. I enjoy what I do, and what I feel like it's important, and it gets me out of bed. I don't feel like getting up, but if I don't get up, let's say this computer isn't going to get fixed, and these people that own this computer aren't going to be able to have the same quality of life without it, and they're patiently waiting on me. So the longer I stay in bed, the longer this customer waits. I don't see the work that I do as something to avoid. I don't see it as something as a punishment. I would do this for free. Like if I had $1 million and didn't have any bills, I would still do this because I like it. I like it so much. It gives me purpose. So I have to ask you, why are you here? And it's up to you to figure that out, whether you get that answer through religion, or if you're like me and you just woke up one day and said, I'm here to help people. I'm here to do this because I said so. Whatever, find it and live it and make your life worth something other than just consuming the resources of the planet and then dying. There's got to be more to life than that. And if you got a job you hate, don't be one of those people that goes, yeah, I'm going to quit this job for 5 years. Before you know it, you've been there 20 years and you still hate your job. And you never got around, because you're so tired and you hate your job so much, you never got around to find the job you really wanted. Don't be that person. You'll be miserable your whole life. Sometimes you got to take a job you don't like, but that should motivate you to get a better job. I have a friend. I'm going to give you an example. I have a friend, and he works at a company in the main, what do you want to call that? Server room. And he worked night shift. Night shift paid better, and he's single. He's a little socially awkward, lacks self-confidence, low self-esteem. Super, super nice guy. You'd never meet a nicer guy. Gentle, soft-spoken, smart. And he was with the company about 12 years, and the company got bought out by another company, and they had, 2 network people. So they said, well, we're keeping our network people, we're letting you people go because we don't need you. We're combining all the networks into one. So he lost his job because his was the company that got bought out, not the company that bought somebody else out. He didn't do anything wrong. Good, loyal, hard-working employee, lost his job, did nothing wrong. So he got a job working in a call center for Apple technical support. And Apple contracts out their support. So he would drive for 40 minutes every day to get a job that paid him $13 an hour in his 30s or 40s. He was in his mid-30s. But again, doesn't have much for bills. He bought his own house. He was able to buy his own house. No girlfriend, no wife, no kids. So things are pretty cheap for him. There's also nobody there for him when he gets sick, right? There's nobody to take care of him. There's nobody to help with the chores. But that being said, Apple decided they didn't want to go with this contractor anymore. And so he lost that job because that contractor no longer exists, or at least the location in Arizona shut down. He didn't do anything wrong, and he was moving up in the company. He was doing well. His brother-in-law works for a trucking company, and he said, why don't you drive a truck? And my friend said, I'll give it a shot. And he spends 6 weeks on the road driving a truck, a big 18-wheel tractor trailer, big lorry, filled with goods across the western United States. Sold his house because he's never home. He doesn't need the house anymore. Put the money in the bank. And he spends 6 weeks on the road, and then about 4 to 7 days, the truck gets maintenance and he gets a little break, and then and he loves it. He absolutely loves it. Who knew? Sometimes you just stumble into stuff. And that A+ certification, what good is it to him today? See what I'm saying? Peter Brooks contributed £1.99. I got my BSc in computer systems and business studies at 50. Hey, age is not a barrier to education. Joseph Panoriello has contributed $2. Thank you, Joseph. All right, guys, any final questions? We're going to wrap this up for today, because what I've got to do, I don't want to expose any of the customer's private information, so I'm not going to do this stuff live. But I am going to update Windows to 1809. I'm going to clean up the temp files using no utilities, just using Windows 10's storage sense. I'm going to turn that on, and I'm going to get whatever the sticky duct tape residue is off of there as best I can. I've left it on long enough. I'm confident that problem is fixed, resolved. And I'm going to check the Samsung SSD for a firmware update. All the drivers are going to be updated automatically through Windows Update, so I don't have to do that. And I'll update the BIOS on the motherboard to the latest BIOS. You've seen me do that a million times on my channel, so I don't need to show that again. Ron says I missed his super chat. Oh, there it is. Ron Swartz, anonymous, contributed $2. He says, thank you for the content and a great community. Hey, you're part of the community, and that's part of what makes it great. So let's remember that, right? The community isn't me. So thank you for being a positive member of the community and for your contribution as well to the channel. Thank you very much. And I'm sorry I overlooked it. It wasn't on purpose. Ben Laird contributed £2. Donald Burton contributed $3. Thank you guys for that. What model is the Samsung? That's a good question. Whatever model was available in 2014, 2013, when I say I built this? 2014? Like an 830, 840, 850? I can't see it. I'd have to run some software or look in the device manager. But it's one of those 830, 840, 850. Is there no disk cleanup in Windows 10? I think the disk cleanup is still there, but why would you want to run that old ragged utility when Storage Sense is so far superior? Come join us in 2019. We'll wait for you. No, we won't. 2020 is coming, whether you catch up or not. Glary Utilities is very good and easy. Yes, it's also obsolete because with Windows 10 and Storage Sense, Glary Utilities and CCleaners are redundant and unnecessary and can cause problems if you're not careful with them. If you stick with the Windows tools, you're working way too hard, man. You're just working way too hard. But don't let me tell you how to do it. You do what works for you. When customers pay me, this is what I do. If that's not good enough for you, it's not my problem. I'm just sharing experience. If you want to dismiss it, you're welcome to dismiss it. Makes no impact on my life. I don't get paid anymore if you agree with me. If that were the case, I'd probably owe money. What is storage set? So down in the bottom left, it says type here to search on your Windows 10 desktop. Type in the word storage and you'll see storage settings come up. And go into storage settings and then you'll see the option for Storage Sense. Turn that on. Ole Peterson says, I'm off to a week's course in dangerous goods tomorrow. Haven't seen a classroom in 25 years. Good for you. Does Windows 10 know not to defrag? And I said, of course, don't worry about that. Windows 10 does what Windows 10 has to do. And for you to second guess the hundreds of highly educated engineers that write the millions and millions of lines of code is preposterous. Windows 10 is far more evolved than any operating system that Microsoft has released before it. And I'm not going to tell you it's the best operating system, that it has no faults, or that there's not some stuff Microsoft can do better. But this education and experience you have with Windows 7, 8, or any previous OS, you don't have to do that stuff anymore unless you're still running Windows 7 or 8 or previous OS. If you're running Windows 10, get on board. That's all I'm saying. You don't have to do that stuff anymore. But if you like it, don't let me stop you. STE Venoms contributed $5. He says, I'm Steven. Oh, I see what you did there. And I'm currently a freshman at the University of Wisconsin Stout. I'm currently undecided, but I think I want to go into IT in the military. Hey, nothing wrong with that. Carey, what about CCleaner's registry cleaner? You don't need a registry cleaner. You haven't needed a registry cleaner since Windows 7. You will see no performance improvement at all. If it makes you feel better, look, you can look and CCleaner will say there's 1,000 bad registry entries, and you clean them. Your computer won't run any different. It has no impact on your system whatsoever. Try it if you don't believe me. So if it makes you feel better to be told something's wrong when nothing's wrong, and then you clean it and it says it's nothing wrong anymore, there was never anything wrong to begin with. I have never, ever fixed a Windows 7, 8, or 10 problem by cleaning the registry. I have never improved the performance, nor have I noticed any improvement in performance by cleaning the registry. The registry isn't what it used to be. This is not Windows XP. This is not Windows 95. Microsoft has evolved past that. And so has the hardware. Operating systems, CPUs, the RAM, all that stuff is so fast. The biggest performance deficit on a computer is you. Seriously, the end user is the slowest part of a modern computer. How are you going to improve that? Are you going to go to the gym? You're going to start working out? Are you going to put as much care into you that you put into that box that you're going to have for a few years and replace, where you got to live with yourself? Think about it. But don't let me stop you. Do what you like. Stephen says, let it all out, Carey. Well, that's not all of it, but, you know, little bleed off valve. You think it's possible to upgrade Windows 7 to Windows 10 after the year 2020? Hold on. Crystal ball, show me the future. Show me the future. No, the crystal ball doesn't work. It says, please try again. Ask me in 2020. I might have an answer for you. Didn't mean to anger you. I'm not angry. I'm not angry. I'm trying to convey the gravity of my words, right? It's not anger. That's not anger. That's emotion. I'm like trying to shake you. You know, when somebody slaps you, they can slap you because they're angry, or they're slapping you to snap you out of something. And all I'm doing is I'm trying to snap you out. Like if I just said it like this, I don't think those words would have the impact unless I say them with passion. I'm a passionate man. I'm not angry, I'm passionate. Those are two different things. Yeah, I don't want people to not ask questions because you're afraid I'm going to yell at you. I appreciate the questions, but some of these questions, I hear them like you don't realize how many times I keep hearing the same question and how many times I have to keep answering it. And I don't want to discourage you from asking the questions, but I want to encourage you to listen. And sometimes I feel like unless I do that, I don't have your full attention. Because if I did, you would have heard me answer it before. Or maybe you're new here, I don't know. But I can't tell. People come and go all the time, and for me, it's the same thing every day. And so, yeah, don't take it personal. I do appreciate your question, I do. But more importantly, I would appreciate if you understood, instead of focusing on whether or not I'm angry, listen to the words. You're focusing on the wrong thing. Like, it's sort of like you're looking over here. You're looking at something I'm not even talking about, and you're changing the subject, and you're deflecting what I'm saying. And I need you here. Stop worrying about anger and stop worrying about this and listen to the words that are coming out of my mouth. Right? And then when people don't listen, or I feel like people aren't listening, I get frustrated. Like, how many different ways do I have to say this for people to get it? and I try and find different words, and I try and find a different approach, and then I start becoming a little more emotional, right? Like, maybe if I say it louder, is that the problem? Or maybe if I say it with inflection, change the inflection, if I sort of put more impact on certain words, maybe then it'll get through. And somebody goes, I'm sorry, I wasn't listening. Did you know your microwave clock and your oven clock are off by 34 seconds? After I gave this long soapbox dissertation of passion. I'm sorry, what? All right, guys, I think I'm going to wrap this up. We're at exactly 2 hours, which is a perfect place to stop. Thank you to everybody who's contributed to the channel. Thank you for everybody who's participated in the chat. I really appreciate that very much. And thank you for asking the questions and giving me the opportunity to yell at you. It makes me feel better. And I hope you understand, don't take it personal. I love you all. It's tough love. It's like a drill sergeant, you know, just trying to toughen you up a little bit, I want to see you be self-sustaining. You can do it, you can be amazing, and you can inspire others. And it's not just words, I really mean it. So thank you guys so much. I hope I see you again very, very soon. And what else? Is there anything else? Back on Franklin's computer on Monday. Mitch joins me on Tuesday. Presentation live on Wednesday, or is it Thursday? Another build. If it's whatever, Wednesday and Thursday, then another build the next day. And then Friday is another build. I think Friday will be the build for, if I'm fast enough, if I can get all this done, for a gentleman in Los Angeles that was here in the chat. We'll talk more about that. And then we're back to the weekend again. So yeah, nothing but time on my hands. Thank you guys so much, and I intend on filming everything. Everything I've talked about will be on this week, so I hope I see you there. And yeah, let me just get this lined up. I think I got my audio problem fixed. I'm going to adjust the video back to 60 frames, so next time I go live, we should be at 60 frames. And yeah, if you like the video, thank you for reminding me. If you like the video, hit that thumbs up. You know, most people don't hit the thumbs up. I don't know why. But if you want to send a message that you like this video and you would like to see more of it, it takes 2 clicks of your mouse. It's really the easiest thing you can do, and it's something YouTube creators really appreciate. And it's so, if you understood the amount of effort and time and money I've got to make these videos, asking you to click your mouse, if that's too much to ask, that's fine. That's fine. And if you are not already subscribed, you can hit that big subscribe button and then hit the little bell icon so the lines go around it, and that will turn on notifications and it'll email you anytime I go live or post a new video. That's how it all works here on YouTube. And if you're curious, I've got 750 other videos for you to watch. You can just click on my name below this video, and then there's a little tab or a little button that says videos, and the library will appear, and click on ones you think that'll be interested. You want to watch them all? I hope you have a lot of time. Thank you guys so much. I really appreciate all of you. And I will see you all again tomorrow, which is very, very soon. Until then, bye for now.